bienvenidos al Congreso Internacional de Recursos Humanos, edición 55, que organiza AMEDIRH y que por primera vez se realiza de manera totalmente digital. Cuando nos despedimos hace un año, jamás imaginamos la situación inédita que nos deparaba el año 2020. Sin embargo, aquí estamos, echando mano de nuestros mejores recursos, la creatividad, la resiliencia, el liderazgo y el trabajo en equipo. En vista de las difíciles circunstancias que enfrentamos, les agradezco aún más su disposición para estar aquí. Juntos reiteramos el compromiso de seguir trabajando en la gestión del talento para lograr la transformación que México y nuestras organizaciones requieren hoy más que nunca. Este año, nuestro Congreso se inspira en el concepto de la agilidad empresarial. Por ello, el lema para la edición 55 es Business Agility, the Human Experience. Por agilidad nos referimos a la capacidad de una organización para renovarse, adaptarse, cambiar rápidamente y tener éxito en un ambiente cambiante, ambiguo y turbulento. Exactamente como el contexto que vivimos ahora. Hablamos de la agilidad empresarial como una experiencia humana porque transformarse en ágil implica que las personas cambien su mentalidad cultural y organizacional. Y corresponde a los profesionales de recursos humanos construir y difundir esa nueva cultura, así como empoderar a los colaboradores para que se conviertan en stakeholders motivados. En recursos humanos, agilidad significa enfocarse en los individuos y en los equipos, haciendo todo lo posible para que estos ensambles interdisciplinarios funcionen como una red fluida. De su experiencia como líderes, como profesionales de recursos humanos y como estudiosos de la gestión del talento en México, América Latina, España y Estados Unidos, los speakers que nos acompañan en este Congreso Digital abordarán los temas que conocemos y nos apasionan, pero también nos ofrecerán perspectivas innovadoras y provocativas sobre el talento en el siglo XXI con la agilidad como enfoque privilegiado. Aprovecho su atención para reiterarles que en AMEDIRH estamos profundamente comprometidos con la transformación de las organizaciones y de todo aquello que aportan a la sociedad. Es nuestra vocación coadyuvar con nuestros socios a lograr esa evolución. Asimismo, reiterarles el reconocimiento que todos y cada uno merecemos derivado de nuestro esfuerzo y logros, muy en especial en el marco de la celebración del Día del Ejecutivo de Recursos Humanos, efeméride que desde hace ya varios años AMEDIRH puso en el calendario cívico y profesional de México. Deseándoles una jornada muy fructífera, les reitero la bienvenida a todos y todas al Congreso Internacional de Recursos Humanos, edición 55, Business Agility, the Human Experience. Muchas gracias. Y ahora les presento a Gerardo Valdés Manzano, Presidente del Consejo Directivo de la Asociación Mexicana en Dirección de Recursos Humanos, AMEDIRH, para proceder a la inauguración formal del Congreso.
Muy buenos días. Gracias por formar parte del Congreso Internacional de Recursos Humanos. Edición 55, Business Agility, the Human Experience. Desde este espacio empresarial, por primera ocasión totalmente digital, compartiremos 2 días de conocimiento, información, casos de estudio y mejores prácticas sobre el tema que nos fascina, el talento humano de las empresas. Como ustedes saben, una de las tendencias más fuertes en este nuevo siglo es la transformación digital de las organizaciones. No se trata solo de digitalizar procesos, sino de llevar a la tecnología el corazón de todas las funciones de una empresa, incluida desde luego la gestión del talento. La transformación digital ofrece una valiosa oportunidad para que recursos humanos demuestre lo que es un socio estratégico del negocio. En este sentido, debemos asegurarnos de que las políticas y los procesos en torno al talento sostengan la alineación con las necesidades y metas y los objetivos de negocio. Es decir, debemos ver el escenario completo, the big picture. Para lograrlo, es indispensable prepararnos, mantenernos alertas y actualizados, atentos al pulso del mercado y también de cuanto ocurre en nuestros centros de trabajo, equipos, unidades de negocio, etc. Por igual, hay que asumir un pensamiento crítico y creativo, así como formularnos preguntas relevantes y plantearnos objetivos claros y sobre todo preparar a nuestra gente para el cambio, empoderando a los colaboradores a fin de que adopten una mentalidad digital orientada a mejorar los procesos y aumentar la productividad. Espero sinceramente que las conferencias y los paneles que hemos diseñado les brinden información valiosa de mucho impacto para llenar sus organizaciones con los nuevos perfiles que demanda el cambio global. Como AMEDIRH lo ha impulsado desde hace ya varios años, este 2020 también celebraremos el Día del Ejecutivo de Recursos Humanos, poniendo énfasis en nuestro rol de cara a la agilidad en los negocios. Nuestro reconocimiento para todos ustedes, en nombre de todos los consejeros y mi calidad de presidente del Consejo Directivo de AMEDIRH, les agradezco nuevamente que sean parte activa de nuestro Congreso. Muchas gracias.
Hola and buenos dias, everyone. I wish to thank AMEDIRH for the opportunity to give a short inauguration message to your Congress on behalf of the World Federation of People Management Associations. I understand this is AMEDIRH's first fully digital conference, and I wish to congratulate your chairman, Gerardo Valdés, and his board, your managing director, Mauricio, Reynoso, and the AMEDIRH team for this initiative during these very challenging times. It's a great example of agility. AMEDIRH was founded in 1947 and is the oldest national HR association in the Americas. It's also the largest speaking Spanish-speaking HR association in the world. And it plays a key part in the World Federation through its membership of the North American Human Resource Management Association and the World Federation Board. In particular, I want to mention the outstanding leadership that was provided by Jorge Araguay, who was our World Federation President from 2014 to 2016. I'm delighted that Jorge has remained a member of the World Federation Board, so we can call on his experience and wisdom. On a personal note, I'm also delighted to renew my acquaintance with Mexico, even though it is on a virtual basis. I have very fond memories of speaking at the World Congress in Mexico City and from my work role with Siva Gaigi when I visited our site in Puebla on several occasions. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank HR colleagues in Mexico and in our member associations around the world for their leadership and courage in dealing with the unprecedented challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. We can be proud of how our national and continental associations have and continue to respond to these enormous challenges. Now, your conference theme of business agility, the human experience, is highly relevant in today's turbulent world. The pandemic has massively disrupted our businesses and our lives, and has accelerated changes in the world of work as we learn to cope with our new reality. It's clear that those organizations which are agile have coped better than those which have tried to manage through their traditional ways of working. My definition of business agility is the ability of an enterprise to understand an environment of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, otherwise our VUCA world, and to successfully operate in it. This ability is not confined to management alone. It must permeate at all levels in the organization. Business agility is about being responsive to people, processes, product, and environment. This will not be possible without effective people management. How we focus, address, and strategize on achieving strong and enduring human relationships in each function of the business is a key part of our role as HR professionals. And this Congress gives an opportunity to share approaches to creating agility in our organizations. Now, as we are in the midst of a global pandemic, I want to spend a little time on the impact of the pandemic on human resources, now and in the future. Despite its many sad and horrible implications, the pandemic has galvanized HR and people leaders to pull together and to support their businesses to innovatively respond to this crisis. However, in the urgency of the moment, it's easy to lose sight of the actions that will be needed tomorrow and in the days after that. We need to think about the next horizons of COVID-19. It's likely the way we work will be changed forever. Much remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Customers, workers, suppliers, and other partners and stakeholders are watching. How organizations are handling the crisis will define their future brands with both their workforce and their customers. It will establish or ruin their reputations for years to come and determine their future success or failure. The priority during the COVID-19 pandemic has been the crisis response and emphasizing health and safety, essential services, and the rapid virtualization of work. HR leaders have been at the center of their organization's rapid response to COVID-19 and have been playing a central role in keeping the workforce engaged and as productive as possible and resilient. As progress is made with crisis management efforts, now is the time for HR leaders to turn their attention towards the future, to ensure their organizations are prepared and agile enough to succeed in the next normal. Resilient leadership will be at the core of our recovery. Remarkable times call for remarkable leadership. And a challenge for our recovery will be unprecedented cross-functional collaboration, and HR should be leading at the heart of this to facilitate and to build positive relationships which are at the heart of business agility. This will not be a typical recovery such as after the global financial crisis of 2008. COVID-19 will not end suddenly, given the lack of effective and available treatments and the uncertain prospects and timing of a vaccine. So organizations must plan for multiple scenarios and time horizons as they shift from crisis response to recovery. They should also plan for the possibility of multiple waves of the pandemic and its continuing an uneven global footprint. For workforce strategies, HR needs to establish critical priorities for the next 12 to 24 months for their organizations as they position themselves for new realities. The pandemic is serving as a catalyst in changing the ways organizations organize, operate, and behave. Many changes that organizations have implemented will be short-term in nature and a direct requirement of continuing their operations during the peak of the pandemic. However, some changes will be established as new ways of working. The disruption of the pandemic has served to massively accelerate changes both in the world of work and more widely in society. Determining what this means for work, the workforce, and the workplace is critical, and HR will be at the center of this. I want to pose some key questions for you to consider during and after your Congress. Work, will we return to the way we worked before, or will we adopt new ways of working? Will our mindset be able to be changed? The workforce, how will capability, affordability, and productivity affect the design of our workforces? Key issues in the workforce are well-being, in particular mental illness, engagement, the psychological contract, and capability. That's talent attraction and development, and reskilling in a digital world. A little note of caution here regarding artificial intelligence, which a lot of people think will be the answer to everything. My view is quite simple. Not everything can be done using AI, especially when it comes to human relationships. This is the human element, which AI has yet to be able to replicate. And in the workplace, what have we learned about working in a virtual world of blurred boundaries between work and home? We are at a tipping point for HR. It's not just about whether we can step up and take a seat at the table. It's about our reputation in the wider workplace and in society. We need not only to act professionally, but also ethically and be seen to add value to our organizations and people. I would summarize HR's current challenges as the following: rethinking the social contract in the workplace, how we communicate expectations, build morale, and exercise compassion. We need to put the human back into human resources. It's how we manage the operational return to work, and in parallel defining the future of work, how we change working practices and norms and act with speed and agility. And we have to focus on principles and practice and not on policies. We also have to ensure we support and protect employees in terms of their health and well-being. I think lastly, but most importantly, one of the key challenges facing human resource professionals is to create successful and more humane organizations. Do not forget to show your humanity and your compassion. Share strategies on how to stay psychologically and physiologically resilient during these strange and difficult times. Business is not as usual right now, and it will take some time to adjust to a new routine. There is still much uncertainty, and the economic and social impacts of this pandemic will have long-lasting effects. I would like to end this short inaugural address by quoting, I hope correctly, a Spanish saying. And if my pronunciation is any good, it's a mal tiempo buena cara. And literally, I think this means in bad weather, a good face. But the expression really means about having a proper attitude that we should have in the face of adversity. It's an attitude of hope and optimism. I think the quote could be, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So that while you may not change your situation, you can change your attitude. One of our roles as HR professionals is to help create hope and optimism. I wish you a successful Congress and muchas gracias.
Este miércoles 9 de septiembre del año 2020 declaro formalmente inaugurado las actividades del Congreso Internacional de Recursos Humanos en su edición 55 de AMEDIRH.